the easy part for me is showing coaches what they need to do every day. Because what I do every day is not like overly complicated. I could teach it, to an 8th grader, and I think they'd be able to pick it up pretty quickly. It's simple stuff. The hard part is the mindset. So I think a lot of coaches come in and they think they're going to get people to buy challenge packs right away. And that's not how this business works. 99% of the people that become my 5 lifers each month that commit to a challenge pack with me are people that told me no, or I connected with over a year ago. When you connect with someone for the first time and you invite them and they say no, that's a good thing. You've planted a seed. No's are planting seeds. And once you've planted that seed, they are going to watch you. They will not like anything you post. They will not comment on anything you post, but they are watching. Trust me. And they will come back around if you are consistent with your journey. So you plant the seed, you get the no, and then you got to be consistent with your journey for a whole year. I talk about this escalator thing all the time. That's how this business works. If you guys have ever tried to run up an escalator that's going down before, anybody, any troublemakers on this call? I used to do it all the time. My mom would start screaming at me.
I'm scared to death of escalators, so no.
All right. Well, I'm going to use the example anyway.
That's fine. Just know I'm just scared to death of them.
I know. They are kind of scary. They got teeth,
Right?
Right. Seriously. They could swallow you, could eat you up. But this business is kind of like running up an escalator that's going down. And what I mean by that is you get on and you're all excited and you start running up this escalator full speed and you feel like you're running 100 miles an hour, but you're barely moving. No one's saying yes, or maybe a few, and you're kind of barely moving up this escalator. And it gets kind of exhausting and tiring at times trying to run up an escalator that's going down. You're going against the traffic and you're going uphill. And a lot of times what happens when you get discouraged and you're not going as fast as you want, what happens? You stop. And what happens when you're on an escalator that's going down and you stop running up? Brings you all the way back to the bottom. And all those seeds you planted when you got that no, and you were moving up that escalator and they were watching you being consistent with your journey, when you stop being consistent with your journey, you go to the bottom and that seed you planted dies. Because they've been watching. Like I said, they didn't like anything. They didn't comment, but they were watching. They were watching. Okay, let's see how consistent they are. Let's see what they do with this thing. And all of a sudden they go, oh, she got off the escalator. Didn't work for her. Why would I want to do that? And then you lost that seed you planted. So then you get back on that escalator and you plant that seed again, but you're going to have to wait another year now. And this is what I kept doing to myself. For 3 years, I would get on the escalator. I'd get really excited. I'd go to an event or something and I'd plant a ton of seeds and life would get in the way. And I wasn't running as fast as I wanted to because I was still on the escalator and I would stop and I'd go to the bottom. And then I'd get back on after being excited for whatever reason. I'd get back on the escalator and I'd start running again. I'd plant more seeds and I'd stop. And maybe I'd get a few coaches that would get on the escalator with me and then they'd see me stop. And they would stop. They're like, oh, where are you going? You're going back down the escalator? All right, then why am I on this escalator? And they'd stop and they'd go back down too. And I did this for 3 years in a row. And finally, I got so pissed at myself because I kept seeing other coaches get on the escalator, plant seeds for a full year and stay consistent with their journey for a full year. And their businesses after that year exploded. They started after me, but they didn't get off that escalator. And I was still at the bottom watching. So I finally recommitted and I said, this time I'm getting on this thing, I'm planting seeds, and I'm going to stay on this thing for as long as it takes. I don't care how long it takes me to get to the top of this escalator because I'm eventually going to get there. I know it. I don't care who I got to talk to. I don't care who comes with me. And when I had that mindset, when you have that mindset of I'm getting on this escalator and I'm going to go get to the top. And what I mean by get to the top is when you get to the top, you're on flat ground and your business explodes. When you get to the top, all of a sudden, if you've been planting those seeds for a full year, all of a sudden you get people that want to join you on this coaching journey. And now you're running with a team of people and your business explodes. You guys follow me right now? So I finally decided, all right, I looked up the escalator and I was at the bottom and I said, all right, this time I'm not getting off. And I don't care who's coming with me. So I think when people could sense that this time it wasn't like, okay, Pat's kind of desperate for me to do this with him. He needs me to do this with him to be successful. That wasn't my mentality anymore. And I think people could tell that this time around, I was going to be successful. I was going to find people that wanted to do this with me. If they wanted to do it, great. But if they didn't, I was going to do this without them, and they were going to watch me be successful. And people saw that, and they didn't want to get left behind. So that time, it was different. More people wanted to come with me. You got to have that mentality of you're all in. It doesn't matter who joins you. You guys, you're doing this. You're going to inevitably find good people that want to do this because you're never getting off the escalator. You're never going to stop planting seeds. You're never going to stop being consistent with your own journey. This business, like someone asked me the other day, they said, Pat, cut the shit. I don't want your spiel. How do you make money in this business? And it could have been the same question. It could have been, Pat, cut your shit. Sorry, there's kids on this. But it could have been like, cut the bull. I don't want to hear your spiel. How do I impact the most amount of lives possible? Because that's the same exact question. The answer to that question, how do I make money and how do I impact the most amount of lives? The answer is the exact same thing. So I looked at him and I said, develop leaders. Develop 2 or 3 good leaders in this business that want to do this with you. If you do that, you're going to have a 6-figure income and you're going to impact a ton of lives, way more than you can on your own. But if you empower a leader or 2 or 3 or 5 leaders, now there's an army of coaches that are impacting a ton of lives. And the pay is, there's a direct correlation there. So when I got back on that escalator, I said, all right, I'm going to find 2, 3, 5 good leaders. And I'm not getting off this escalator until I do. And I know I'm going to. It's inevitable. If I'm planting seeds every day and I'm consistent with my journey and I'm doing personal development, I'm working out every day, I'm planting seeds, it's inevitable that people are going to want to join my challenge groups. And if I'm giving people a great experience, it's inevitable that some of them are going to have such a good experience that they're going to want to give that to other people. I just knew it. I just knew it in my gut that if I just stayed consistent with this, I was inevitably going to find people that wanted to do this with me because it was such a cool opportunity to change a lot of lives, to create more freedom in your life. So I think people, when you have that mindset, people notice it and they want to be a part of something like that. So who's getting on the escalator and not getting off this time?